Okay. Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum. What happened since we started?
I went to Tunisia a few
Since
times, and then was it a few times or was it once? I think I went once, and then oh my god, I've got my laptop on top of a radiator, so it's really heating up. And let me check my mic. What else? Ramadan. We're in Ramadan now.
yeah.
How's your Ramadan been so far? What is it? Day 11 now.
Is it, yeah? 11?
I think so.
Yeah. I think it's I was confused between yeah, it's 11, yeah. Yeah, 11th Ramadan. It's good, bro. It's pretty good. Although I'm
Alhamdulillah.
sleep deprived a bit earlier than usual.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um I had a yeah, my daughter was born since the last episode as well. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Allahu
Uh
Akbar. Did we even announce that? Is that even like a thing we did? I can't remember.
I think we did. We did.
Did we?
Like I no, like I said, it was on the way, you know.
On the
So
way.
now I've got a daughter, alhamdulillah.
Wow.
Um,
You're more mellow
what
now.
else?
More chilled out.
I don't know. Nothing yet, bro. You know that stage. By the way, like having a third child, I found it like very chill. Like it's like routine now, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas one, obviously, one is like whoa. Two is like a little bit whoa. That was like the second one was like the first one in Turkey. You know, it's like okay, we don't really
Oh
know.
yeah.
And that was in Ramadan as well. Actually, he was born in Ramadan. The third one, it was just like bro, chill. Like
Yeah.
obviously it's for me. For my wife, it's probably not chill, but for me, it's you know, it's routine. And I know how it works. I suppose, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, bro, it's good. It's good. But the whole thing of it's a girl, that's like I don't that won't kick in for like a couple years.
Yeah. Still wearing boys' clothes and yeah, well, Ed, shouting, yeah,
Oh,
well, Ed, there's you.
bro, I told my wife like just let her watch and wear the same clothes as the boys. Like,
Why am I buying a whole new wardrobe?
yeah, exactly. Um, and we did that a few times because we uh, there were times where like the clothes got dirty, like a lot of clothes were dirty, so just like have to use the boys' clothes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't care, bro. I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
at that age, who cares? But whatever. You know, you can have
Allahu
some
Akbar.
more feminine colors. Fine,
Yeah.
no problem, no
Allahu
problem.
Akbar.
They probably got gifts. You know, that's the amazing thing, man, about family is you know you get so many gifts, all these clothes and
Yeah.
books and mashallah. Yeah.
Do you have any
So
family members that have more than three kids?
it depends what do you mean by family members, like how far you want to go.
Oh,
My
yeah.
my my aunt has 11 kids.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. That's amazing. I think, yeah, I
Yeah.
suppose my aunt's got four. Because in my head, I'm like, because I was part of a trio, you know. I do have a half sister, but I grew up with my two sisters. So
Yeah.
so because there's three, anything beyond that is like unknown territory for me. In terms of
Ah,
actual
okay.
experience, right? So I'm like thinking like,
Yeah.
what would it feel like having four? But yeah, logistically,
I
it
think,
seems a bit tougher.
well, once you have four, bro, you need the seven seater, innit?
Yeah, I know, bro. I know. I
That's
know.
the
I mean,
big
it's
thing.
already
I just
was
spoke to someone today who's got eight kids, mashallah.
long back. Yeah. How does that work
He start
logistically,
like
bro?
he's like, I got married when I was 21, and I had a child every year since then.
Love
Yeah.
it. But that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But it's a big difference to compare to like obviously other demographics that do not have a lot of children. You know, even in the UK, people complaining
Bro,
about
even
being
our
taken over
demographics
and
don't
stuff.
have a lot of
No, yeah,
children, man.
North Africans don't typically. I mean, Tunisia. I say North Africans don't, but I know Tunisians are quite one, two. They'll have like one or two, and that's kind of it for them, generally speaking. At least this modern age. Um, yeah, I've got family members that have two kids,
But
and
like even
that's
in
it.
like Muslim, I thought you were talking about like Muslims. Like
No, I thought
Muslims in the
Muslims have quite a
UK,
lot.
they're probably on like two vibe,
Really?
two, three. I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. You tell me.
I've never really thought about it like that. I've always thought that they're always having as many kids as they can. I suppose it's always like a yeah, but now that you say that,
No, bro, that's
a lot
your
of the people that
bubble.
I
That's
know
your
have
bubble.
kids. Yeah, but I'm on my third. My youngest is quite young. He's 1 year old. Don't know what the future holds. I haven't seen what the deal, but I think there are people that will say that's it. They will just say that's it. You know, I'm open to having more children, but there are
Oh,
people that
right.
will just say no,
Yeah.
we're done.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and I think that's what's
I don't know. I feel like this is just guessing or just my feeling that, I don't know how you want to call them, the less conservative, less traditional Muslims in the UK, they'll be on like pretty much two and they're done. I don't know. Is
yeah,
that
yeah.
not the case?
Maybe. I don't mix enough with a lot of people like that to know. You know, I don't
Yeah,
really gauge it.
exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm
But
saying.
when
Your
I go
bubble.
to,
Yeah.
the reason is I go to like, we go to the Arabic school every weekend for the kids. Now that Suleiman and Ilyas, so the two older ones, go and do their little Arabic lessons there, and I see a lot of other parents, and they've got loads of kids, and there's kids everywhere, and it's just flourishing. Allahumma barik, and the communities are growing, and the masajid are packed with children and stuff, and there's that narrative that I see online when it comes to like right wing English, English Defence League personalities or the people that are associated with that kind of thinking, who are like, oh, we're being taken over and they're taking over our country and blah blah blah. When
Yeah.
really it's a demographic issue, and it's
Yeah, I mean,
the
Muslims are definitely having, like, if the average in the UK is 1.5, let's say, then the average Muslim might be 2.5,
yeah,
which
absolutely.
is significant, Yeah.
But also ages
Um,
of like
you know,
marriage and stuff, isn't there? Or getting
yes,
together and all that stuff.
yes.
Yeah,
Like, bro, if you get married when you're 20, I mean, there's a lot of time. There's a lot of
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. I'm getting a lot of marriage questions lately, bro. I've got my own personal curious cat thing. Getting a lot of marriage questions, you
Okay,
know.
I've seen you answer some of those.
So there was one yesterday,
Yeah.
actually. Maybe we could talk about that
Um, mhm.
if
Go
you
on.
want. You don't have to. We don't have to get into that topic if you don't want it. But
No,
uh,
I actually had some points on that I was going to share last episode, and I've still
okay,
got
cool.
them, so we can go into that. We can go
Okay,
into that. But actually, maybe before we go into that, maybe we
go
should
for it.
just tell me anything new this Ramadan versus last Ramadan. Any updates, any
Let me
tea
think.
or coffee.
So I feel like it's been a bit tougher in terms of trying to get like a routine down in terms of culture and stuff. Like cultural, like you know, basically, iftar is before the kids' bedtime. Okay,
It's before.
which
Okay.
which isn't what I'm used
How close
to.
is it?
So it's about an hour. So iftar is like 6-ish, and they usually sleep at 7-ish. So
Yeah.
like it's like I'm at my I'm at my weakest and hungriest during the bedtime rush, and trying to do that whilst going to Tarawih and things like that. So it's been a bit tough that in that regard. So maybe I'll eat for like 10 minutes or something, and then try and help with putting the kids to sleep. Um, and obviously this house is new, so I haven't got a baby gate, and the kids like running up and down a thing, and yeah, it's a bit chaotic. It's a bit chaotic. It's not like a relaxing like old school time where it's like kids are asleep, right? Let's enjoy our meal in peace. um, so there's that. But yeah, I mean, I'm not too. I don't want to burn myself out, so I'm quite. I don't want to say liberal, but I will, try and read my Quran throughout the day, do it just a day. I'm not really pushing myself to do more than that, only because I don't want to burn out, I guess. Not that I should burn out, but I like to be better safe than sorry in that regard. So, like, okay, that's done. Let me
Yeah.
focus on what else I need to do. As far as like training, I've dialed back gym a little bit, and I've been trying to go during the day if I can, as opposed to after Taraweeh. Um, Only because, yeah, once again, if I can go early in the day, if I have like a gap at work or something, like lunchtime or something like that, try and go. But even so, the environment just doesn't feel very Ramadani friendly to me. I just don't like being in that environment when it's the month of purification. But
How is it? How is your gym?
uh, it depends. So, like when I go at night, it's a lot more male dominated and quieter. There's not that many people, and it can be a bit empty, especially if I go quite late. But now, like, I'm not going at peak times, but you're definitely getting a different, demographic of people that attend, and there's also
Crowd.
classes
Yeah.
going on. Yeah, and yeah, and you can't always do what you
What's
want to
those
do.
classes called? Zumba.
Zumbas,
Zumba.
yeah,
Oh,
bro, it's
uh,
not my scene.
bro. Some
Uh,
of these classes have some dirty names. I can't remember, but
oh
I
God.
just remember that they got some. Yeah.
Really? Okay. No, I've never been to a class, so not my kind of thing. But I just want to keep moving. Um, I don't want to get stagnant in that regard. I've lost a lot of weight, alhamdulillah. I think probably, yeah, quite a lot. 20 kilos since I started, which was years ago. But yeah, I'm back to my marriage weight, which is great,
Mm.
which is awesome. So now like I put on my wedding suit because we had a wedding a few weeks ago, months ago
Before
now.
Ramadan. Mm.
Yeah, there was a wedding before Ramadan, and I wore my wedding suit, which I'd also wore when my sister got married. Like putting the pictures side by side is like night and day, bro. You can't tell on this camera, but honestly, like one I'm bursting and the other one I'm drowning. you know,
Drown.
but but yeah, alhamdulillah. So that's cool. But yeah, like I said, Tarawih, I'll go. I tend to go for 8 rak'at. I don't really stay for longer than that.
Oh,
Um,
do they do 20?
they do both, so they'll do eight, and then yeah, that's what I mean. So half the congregation or some of the congregation will
Bro,
be there
who
for
does
eight.
20? Who you like what country, what part of the world usually does 20? Is it
I
South
don't know.
Asians? Do they do 20 or 8?
I don't know. I assume so. I assume so. I mean, I'm trying to
What
remember
do
what
you
they did
assume?
in
They do 8 or
Tunisia.
20?
I think they do 20. I
Okay.
mean, the masjid is the leadership, I'm assuming, imams and stuff are Hanafi, although they're not as strict Hanafi as they were when they first started. Because the demographic of people that go to this masjid are so diverse. Like this masjid is just everyone. It's one of the most beautiful things about this masjid here, Al Medina Masjid in Brighton. The demographic is everyone. Like you'll find someone from any country there. Whilst when I've gone to London, there can be some masjid where it's like, oh, this is the
Yes.
Bangladeshi masjid, or this is the,
Yeah.
Afghan masjid, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Turkish masjid, for example. You're right. This one has got everyone in it, so because of that, they're very flexible with certain things. So they will do the eight people, and they will accommodate for people leaving at 8, and then 20
Diversity and
likewise.
inclusion.
Diversity and inclusion. Um, that's it, really. What about you? What's your
Bro, I was gonna say you're gonna when your clocks change, right? Maghrib's gonna go 1 hour later, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So when that happens with you, you're gonna be like me now. I'm dragging you to my thing, which is the time when Maghrib is the time where the kids sleep, the exact same time.
Right.
So it's not been good in that sense. It's not been good. Like try and get the kids to sleep a bit earlier than usual.
Yeah.
But to be honest, bro, most of the time it's like I'm having iftar on my own pretty much because the
Yeah.
kid's still in that
They-
process.
And some might argue, some might say, oh, but why don't you get the kids involved and stuff? They can't wait to eat that long. So they would have eaten already beforehand. I think
Yeah,
that's what
they'll
we've
eat
got.
like 2 hours before Maghrib Yani or
Yeah.
something like that.
So there's not much you can
But
do.
get them involved. I thought actually I would have done that. I think if it was up to me, I think I would have been like, look, let them sleep late and eat with us. I mean, the downside of that is, you've got a date, right? You're really hungry. You're sitting down. Yeah, you got the dates. I don't know if you do milk or not. I'm just more of a water kind of person.
Yeah.
You get the date. You open it up. You take the stone out, and you're just waiting for that adhan. Yeah, just
Okay.
waiting, and then you finally hear it, and you take the date, and you're just gonna put it in your mouth, and then like your kid will he'll be up the wall. Somehow he's up the wall and he jumps off the wall and like onto your hand and
That's it.
like the date's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Well,
the other one will come and like swing on your neck while you're trying to get another date. So
yeah.
that's what it would be like if they were still awake at that time, I suppose. Especially if
Yeah.
they've eaten in it. They're like done. They're ready like to chill.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I don't know, but this is the first Ramadan that I've had like that. Why is that? Last year it was,
One
yeah,
less
probably
baby.
they were asleep. Were they asleep at that time? Also, the second one was younger, bro. So he was not as chaos,
Yeah.
whatever they call it. He's a chaotic one, mashallah. So yeah, that's different this year. Taraweeh is also different this year. Last year it was like very close to Maghrib. I was actually getting ready for Taraweeh and going because the place I was praying, if you don't get there, you have to get there at Isha adhan. You have to arrive like, I remember I was on my way there. I would hear the adhan, like I already leave before they start adhan because the place would fill up. and you just wouldn't get a space unless you're
You're
there
right.
like early, you know. This year, all of the, you know, in like what we've got is we've got the Turkish Tarawih and we've got like the Arab Tarawih. We got like
Mm.
different ones. So they got like the normal government Tarawih that the government imams do is Turkish style, which, you know, most people would have heard, which is very fast, one ayah per rak'ah. And not only one ayah, but it's like fast. Everything's fast. I think they do 20 rak'ah, but it's very fast. So I've never actually prayed that. Like since I
Yeah.
arrived, people tell me like, don't even bother. So I never went to that. But what that means is that like the Arabs wait for the Turks to finish, and then if they get permission, they would pray a separate Tarawih. So there are all the options like that I've been going to, they're like that. So it starts at 10 p.m., the Tarawih. I try to go to Isha, the normal Isha for just normal Isha Salah. But even that's very quick. Like the Isha then goes, and then very soon after they pray, even when they're praying Isha, it's faster than usual.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, imagine it's Maghrib, you break your fast, eat, pray, everything. Then there's a little gap, then Isha, then come back home. Then you're at home for a little bit, then you go Tarawih and then come back home. And then Tarawih starts at 10, finishes about 11:30. Then it's like, you know, you got to sleep, innit? Otherwise, that's why I'm like lacking sleep, because I sleep maybe 4 hours at night and then I stay up after Fajr to work. And then in the day, like, you know, I might get a couple hours, but I might not as well, you know? So, but the Tarawih is good. There's actually there's like, bro, like someone told me who's in, I think, Dubai right now. He said in Dubai, to find a masjid that prays one juz in Tarawih, he said it's rare. He said in the whole of Dubai, there's like maybe 3-4 masajid that do it. But here, just in my area, there's like 10 that are doing like one juz. And then they even have at 1:30 a.m. they've got like qiyam as well. Usually they do that in the last 10 in it, but they're doing it from like day one this time. Okay. So that's different. Other than that, bro, I think what I'm like challenging myself with is about the same as last year, and that's because last year I didn't quite hit the target. So it's like, okay, let me hit the target first, and then I will, you know, up the levels next year, inshallah, if Allah gives us that. I guess I'm focused a bit more on dua. I'm like, I don't know if I did this last year, but I wrote like certain dua out. And when I write, it's not like I'm going around with a paper, but just because I wrote it out, it's in my head, you know?
Yeah.
It's in my consciousness, in sujood, or I try to make dua, you know, before I break my fast and stuff, or after actually. Yeah, that's about it, man. The clocks are changing for you, but our clocks don't change, so it's just gonna be standard.
I think ours are going to be
it's gone
like
fast
more.
as usual.
Ours are going to be more during the last 10 nights or something like that, possibly, when the clocks will change.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
around
yeah.
that time.
And
Give it a different vibe.
I'm drinking my electrolytes like last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
I ran out of electrolytes for like 2-3 days, and I actually feel the difference, you know. So
Really?
definitely recommended. Yeah.
I suppose I do have some. I have some. I've got like a multi. I've got like a bunch of vitamins I take every day, and one of them is electrolytes from before when I did water fasting. I've just been taking anyway, so maybe that's why I'm
Yeah.
feeling okay. I don't really feel it too bad. But yeah, alhamdulillah, that's good.
Majd was
That's good.
telling me that he found out that apparently milk is as hydrating as electrolytes. So
just a milk
he's
drinker.
going on hard on the milk, basically. Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
You gotta
Yeah,
drink a lot of milk. That was quite filling, and
mate.
like I'm
Honestly.
drinking with the electrolytes. I do half a liter of water, and I probably do like 1 to 1.5 of those a day. So imagine, you know, 750 ml of milk. That's heavy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
I
Okay.
was gonna say, you know, about weight loss before we go into the marriage thing. Yeah, have you heard of Ozempic? You probably heard of Ozempic.
Is it injections or is it the pill?
Yeah,
Yeah.
GLP. Yeah.
Yeah, I come across it a couple of times, but I wasn't too aware of like I think it's an American thing. I don't think there's anything like that in England yet.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds American, isn't it? And I think it's like mostly popping off in America, but it's quite interesting. I don't understand fully how it works or anything like that, but I know it basically suppresses your appetite. And
Right.
this is a drug that it's a drug that's like very been used for a very, very long time, but not for weight loss, for other reasons. But I guess
Yeah.
it's just a side effect that it destroys your appetite. So someone I was listening to who was taking it, like bro, like 40-year-old guy, he's pretty fit, but he's like, just sometimes I enjoy myself and I want to lose like 5-10 kilos and
Right.
just want to do it easier.
Yeah.
So he's like, I tried out these Ozempic. It's not Ozempic is one of them, but GLPs in general. He's like, when I take it, I eat 500 calories and I'm done. Like halas, I can't eat for the whole day. I'll
Yeah.
eat 500
Yeah.
calories.
Yeah.
So you can
Yeah. I can
imagine the
imagine that.
effect that would have.
But once you're in that groove, it's just
Yeah.
it becomes autopilot. Honestly, once you like really can nail down how many calories you're having, even if you're guessing, like I don't know, 60% of the time I'm guessing what I'm having. I'm not reading off a packet, you know. But you get decent at
All right.
guessing. You get decent at guessing, and just by doing that, you're being more conscious, you know, because how far out or can you really be? And especially if you accommodate for that. Like I put down 1,800 calories. That's kind of low for me, you know.
That is
But
low. Yeah.
because I know that I'm guessing a lot of the time, I know that I'm probably going over, you know, maybe
Oh.
3 times a week. I'm probably going over, but I'm not going over by that much. So and I'll accommodate for that by more exercise or whatever. And because of that, this is why it's been working, so to speak.
Hmm.
It's been a lot slower. It's been way slower than I thought it would be, but it's way more sustainable because I'm not thinking about it that much. And in the same way that like Salat compartmentalizes your day, having a bit of a calorie tracker compartmentalizes your eating. You know, it's like,
Hmm.
oh, okay, let me have 500 calories for breakfast if I'm going to have a breakfast, or if I'm lunch. Oh, look, lunch I've got 800 calories. Dinner I've got 1,000. That tends to be what it is. Like I'll be like, okay, lunch I can probably if I'm going to have lunch 800 sweet, dinner I can pretty much have anything I want because it's 1,000 calories. What am I going to eat that's going to go over that? Sometimes you could do that. You could go over if you eat loads, but you're not going to do that, especially if you've got it in your head. So yeah, it's straightforward in that regard. I wouldn't know how I would do it if I was trying to gain weight. If I was trying to gain weight, I suppose it'd be quite difficult.
That
I just,
I remember those days where I was trying to like. I guess I didn't know what I was doing, but I was like going gym and I was like, yeah, protein, protein, protein. But I think I just didn't have the calories going in to actually put
mm,
on enough,
yeah,
and that was always a struggle because, yeah, I guess I don't know, bro. I've got mixed messages. Some people tell me you eat so much. Some people tell me, you're not eating hardly anything. I don't know if I eat a lot or not, but I always struggle to eat enough calories to actually like gain weight properly.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know what it would
And it
be
just
that would
feels wrong.
increase that for you. Does it?
Feels wrong,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
No, like in
yeah,
terms of the Prophet ﷺ, he said, eat that which will keep your back straight. And
yeah,
then I'm like, yeah, give me like 3 chicken breasts and let me have two
yeah, yeah,
steaks. And let
yeah,
me...
yeah,
it
yeah.
seems wrong.
I,
Gluttonous.
yeah, exactly. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. And it's a very fine art to try and so you to build any muscle, you're going to have a lot of fat going along with it, and then you have to cut the fat away just to leave, most of the muscle, and then once again, and it's a cycle of constantly doing that. And yeah,
Yeah.
unless you're going to be very uh, precise with the amount of protein you're going in and the workout that you're doing, you're just going to get fat because you're not making enough, you're not tearing enough
Mm.
muscle fibers to build that repair. You're not eating enough protein to put them, you could be having loads of calories, thousands, but it could be like 90% carbs and your protein is nowhere to be found. And because of that, you're just getting fat and you're not really, yeah. So yeah, I agree with you. I'm not
Yeah.
in looking. I'm 30 years old now, bro. I'm not looking to become a bodybuilder. And a lot of bodybuilding stuff takes over this kind of scene. All the information is
Yeah.
predominantly provided by bodybuilders, especially in the Muslim sphere. So because of that, like you can easily be fooled into thinking that's what you should be going for, but really you don't need that. You don't need that. Like you said, you just need to be fit and healthy and not be getting I mean, we're at an age now, regrettably, where youth doesn't really play into getting away with things anymore. Like I'm starting to see the direct impact of behavior that I'm,
Mm.
engaging in on my life. Whilst when you're younger, like not stretching, for example, before you hit the gym, get away with that when you're younger. When I was 18, bro, I could just go smash a workout. Now, like, I've got a shoulder injury because I don't stretch my shoulders out enough, and like, I'm not fully injured yet, but I know that one wrong move and I'm just gonna ruin it. Like, my knees are bad. Like, I walk up the, I walk a lot now, but like, I'm feeling it. I'm just feeling things. Certain
Good for
things I
you.
eat,
Yeah.
I'll feel the effects of them really, quickly. Whilst before, like, you're kind of impervious to a lot of things. And
Mm.
I think it comes with age, bro. It comes with age. How many times have your parents got up from sitting down or something like, "Oh, my back," like that was it.
Ay, a bit, a bit, a bit, a
See what I mean? But that's it. That comes from
bit.
somewhere, and
Yes.
that's it.
Yeah.
We're getting into those age ranges now. Children. Like, I remember being a kid and having unlimited energy. Now I look at my children. I'm like, how do they have unlimited energy? I can't move. I can just sit there and I'm like watching them just running in circles non-stop, fighting with each other. And I look at my wife, I'm like, how are they doing this? Why can't I be like that?
Yeah.
But
When I get those thoughts, I just think, well, I'm just not fit. Like I just haven't been training. You know.
yeah, I
When's
don't
the last
know.
time I did cardio apart from like walking? You know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Because I can run now, alhamdulillah, like for a decent amount of time without necessarily getting like out of breath dying. But it's more the boredom of it that makes me stop. It's like, do I really want to do this for another 30 minutes? I just can't be bothered. That's more what it is. It's about
Right.
engagement. And I think that's what it is. I think
Yeah.
a lot of it is
Yeah.
to do with being engaged because kids are always engaged in whatever they're doing. But parents
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
adults aren't really engaged in things.
Bro, that's why when it comes to like cardio, like I used to train rugby, like train in terms of training, coach, everything, yeah.
Yeah.
I would just run non-stop for the whole game.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like especially in rugby there are like the forwards and the backs. The forwards tend to just run the whole game anyway, and I was
Yeah.
usually bigger people are forwards, but we didn't even have a full team. Like we didn't, it's 15
Yeah.
players in
Yeah.
a team. We had like 11, so we were playing like 11 aside. But I would be in the forwards and I would just run non-stop. And I just had this thing in my head, like I don't know, like you just don't stop. Like the
Yeah.
guy, the other team has the ball. You got to get it. You got to tackle him, and you can't
Yeah.
stop.
Absolutely.
So that kind of behavior built on my stamina a lot when I was playing rugby, and it showed me like, yeah, when you're playing a game, it's easier to just run and run and run and run and run. It's
Mm,
more
mm.
interesting. But yeah, I probably had like one of the best staminas. But you know why? Because a lot of the players they were like training 2 3 times a week, everything, but they would smoke as well.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So it like
I'll do
didn't
it.
help them.
I'll do it. No,
For the victory,
alhamdulillah.
yeah. They kind of turned into a joke. You know the I don't know if you've seen it in the Khalij. They have this pipe that they smoke, which is not like it's not like the English pipe where you like smoke it for a while. This is
Yeah.
like you take one hit kind of thing, 1 2
Yeah.
hits. Okay,
Okay.
they call it madwar because it makes
Okay.
you daykh, yani.
Yeah.
So a lot of the like even the English guys would smoke that. So they would come, they would like it would be like half time, and the we'd be like doing the huddle or whatever, and then there's one of us like missing, and it's like he's gone to have a quick one like in half time, and I'm like, okay, then you're gonna go and run again. So
God. It's a running in
this is
circles.
the UAE, bro. This is the culture.
Awful. Awful, awful, awful. These Khalijis, bro. Insert
There's
Khaliji
a
criticism
there's
here.
there's a lot there's a lot of there's a lot of people moving to Dubai. I feel these days. Do you get that same feeling, or they're just in my
Yes, I
circle?
find it really ironic. I find it hilarious. I find all of this so funny. I just sit there. You see criticism of the Khalij all the time, right?
Hmm.
This and that, and they're doing this and doing that, and then you tell a Muslim to go and move to make hijrah or go and move to a Muslim country, and they only want to go to the Khalij because they want to have their cake and eat it too. And it's ironic to me really because they've got obviously a lifestyle similar or better than the West. So that is going to be the predominant place to go, and also it's full of other people that have made that trip as well. There's a
Hmm.
everybody's going. They say everybody's going. Well, yeah, a lot of people, especially influencers and stuff in the Muslim scene, they go over there. They like it. They want to live there. There's a lot of networking opportunities. There's a lot of
Yeah.
amenities. There's a lot of opportunity, I assume. And yeah, that's why they like it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think if you're going to live there, and obviously you're not a citizen in that regard, but if you're going to live there, then you can do things and you can make things better as well for that country. It's a Muslim country. There's Muslims there, and you can make things better for the Muslims there as well. Whether it's classes or whatever, or things that are going on, whatever. Um, I just find it ironic. Yeah, I just find that part of it ironic.
You mean the
Because
fact that they get a lot of criticism, but then a lot of people move there?
yeah, it's that double standard of it. But I suppose maybe not everybody doing the criticism is the point for people moving there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, well, if you were to move anywhere, where would you go? Like, you're living in England, who are also, what's worse? Would you rather be in a see, when you say Muslim country, you'll get some extreme people that say, "Oh, they're not Muslims over there." So, okay, have fun with takfiring a whole nation, you know. But
Mm.
that's what I don't like about it. I don't like. I'm more of a, let's just be a bit more optimistic about Muslim countries, no matter where they are, no matter where they are, because I'm not just fanboying over Khalij because I don't really have a, what's the word?
You haven't even been there much, innit?
I went once in 2008 to
Mm.
Dubai when a lot of it was still, you know, works going on. I mean, I'm sure there's cranes and all sorts of projects going on, but back then, I think the island places, one of them was done. I don't think a lot of them were done at the time. I could be wrong.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't remember much of it. And but at the same time, at the time I was young and I just saw it as any other Muslim country. It's just this one had a lot more going on, you know, um, and that's it really. But yeah, I think I'm coming at it from a, don't know what I'm coming at it from, to be honest. I think I just find it interesting that there is a lot of criticism, but it's also the only option for many people. It's the only desire for many people to go, and I think I don't like the negative. I like to be a bit more empowering of the Muslim communities and Muslim countries as well. And I also feel like whatever you build in a Muslim country today, whether it's you or whether it's governments or whatever, will be inherited, inshallah, one day by someone better than whoever's ruling it or leading it now. If you've got a bone to pick with whoever's the leadership of a certain country, just know that that leader is going to die one day and leave behind whatever they've built and whatever you've built. They're not going to take that with them. And it's the country itself can be, there's so much benefit you can get from any Muslim country, and you can invest in any Muslim country, and you can build and you can organize and do whatever in any Muslim country. And it will always be inherited by other people that, inshallah, better later on. And I think that's the attitude we should have. Instead of having this negative, like, oh, the Gulf or the Khalij or they're this, or, Morocco or Tunisia or Algeria, whatever, you see it everywhere, not realizing that it's almost like they talk about these countries like they're a lost cause,
Mm.
right? It's like, oh, they're westernizing. Let's take Saudi, for example. They're westernizing Saudi. Okay, well, the people aren't necessarily about that. You can still, the Sha'ab, yani, the Muslims can still make changes that will be inherited by someone else at a later date. And countries rise and fall, right? Libya was the way it was before, and it's still got issues. But the things I see out of Libya now is incredible. The stories I hear about people that go to Libya, for example, are incredible. And just 10 years ago, we were talking about, well, maybe longer than that, we were talking about, the Gaddafi and the ruler there, and the Harb, the civil war, whatever you want to call it, the Arab Spring. Likewise, Tunisia, it's got its issues, but I go to Tunisia often now, and I'm like, oh wow, look what they're doing here. Oh, look at this project that they've done. Oh, that's great for the people. Oh, look, they're really thankful for this is happening. But we see it from a very Western foreign policy lens because we're in England. We just see what maybe English press or the media tell us about. Oh, that developing third world country over there. Look at them. They can't even, they don't even have traffic lights or something. I don't know. You know, it's just I don't like the fact that we adopt and we've taken and we've consumed and absorbed this kind of negative perception of Muslim countries, whilst we are sitting necessarily in a or unnecessarily in a non-Muslim country. We shouldn't be taking pot shots at our own
Yeah.
because that is kind of
So
what they want us to do.
I can like say that stuff because I live in a Muslim country.
You live in a Muslim country, yeah, but
Yeah.
you are there and you are optimistic about being there. But I'm sure, bro, there's a lot of Turks that want to leave and they're trying to leave every day, right? And I
Oh,
get that.
definitely.
Yeah, I get that. And I get this. Look, I get that there's an economic hardship and there's a difference there. Your economic prospects are kind of not from Turkey. You're not necessarily working in
Separate, yeah.
Turkey as a Turk. It's separate, and I get that, and I appreciate that. And it is going to be difficult for people that live there, and that's all they have. And not just Turkey, in any Muslim country. going to be difficult for them to be positive when they have no opportunities in front of them and stuff. So yes, maybe I'm
Yeah.
privileged to be able to say, hey, oh look, this is great, or what they're doing here is great, or whatever. I fully appreciate that, but I don't see the benefit in people that aren't even there, that don't even live there, that don't even have a stake in any Muslim country, just sitting in England or sitting in America or sitting in Canada and just, oh look, Pakistan's like this, Turkey's like that, Algeria's like, do you know what I mean? Like they are the ummah, they are part of the ummah, and that'll be inherited one day. And actually, when push comes to shove, you're on the wrong side of the fence. Like I'm on the wrong side of the fence. You get me?
You
Like
might
if
not get
anything,
in.
yeah, exactly. When it hits the fan, bro. Like I've always thought about this. Macron was talking yesterday or a couple of days ago about sending 2,000 troops to Ukraine, right? 2,000 troops to Ukraine to fight the Russians. That sounds like World War Three, narratives to me. Like if I was to open a history book in the year 3000, say, well, the French president sent 2,000 troops to Ukraine.
It all started
It
when
all started. Do you know what I mean? So like we might be in the prologue of that kind of tale. And when I think about that, I'm like, oh, when push comes to shove, what side of the fence am I on? Where am I? When the airports stop and nobody can leave the country anymore, what side of the fence am I on? When England, for example, hypothetically speaking, hypothetics, yeah, hypothetical, England decides to go to war with a Muslim country or the Muslim Ummah, whatever you want to call it, or the country that you're from. Well, let's say hypothetically they've got beef with North Africa for some reason. I don't know. One day, and I'm here. What do I do then? Look at the Russians now. Russians in the UK, they're getting outcasted and they're made pariahs of. They were voting
Mm,
recently for the presidential election in Russia. Obviously, it's probably rigged or whatever. But somebody voted for Putin, which is their democratic right to do so, and they got fired from their job
mm.
in England because of it. You know,
Oh, how did they find out?
I think they must have posted it on social media. I came across it on the timeline.
Whoa.
But yeah, they were
Yeah.
they. It's a democratic right, but only if it suits the powers that be, right? Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so you got to be conscious of that. Like always, even I'm not talking about you're not going to have a physical opportunity all the time to go to a Muslim country. I appreciate that. There's a lot of Muslims that can't. I have, I'm North African. I've got a Tunisian citizenship. I can go to Tunisia whenever I need to. Alhamdulillah. A lot of other Muslims in the UK don't have that. They don't have dual national. They don't. They may not even come from immigrant families. They may be reverts, etc., or lost whatever identity they may have had a long time ago. But don't psychologically colonize yourself with the same negative narrative that the West spun it anyway to demonize Muslim countries in the first place, right? Don't
Yeah.
assist them in the oppression of your Muslim brothers and sisters. Like, at the end of the day, I see taking a stab and pot shots at Muslim countries from laymen to leaders, by the way. I'm talking about everything across the board. Whilst I sit here, I just find it so hypocritical. I really do. And it's not. It shouldn't be me that does that, and it shouldn't be my non-stop topic that I go to, because some people just take it to extremes where they're just constantly like no one can ever do any good, you know. Um, and we should celebrate the good, and we should
Well,
promote the good.
mm,
We should if they're
yeah.
doing good and
Yeah, I see what you're saying, like the optimistic side of things. Like even to say that, oh, this country right now it's not so good, but it has these things going for it.
yeah, inshallah, yeah,
Maybe in 50 years, 100, who knows, but it will be. So these are like little bits of light that you can see, definitely, like when you're looking at thing. But also I think all this comes down to is being able to keep two seemingly opposing ideas in your head at the same time, right? So for example, I could say, like when some people say, oh, Saudi, when they say Saudi, what do they mean?
yeah,
What do they mean? Do they mean the physical land? Do they mean the people? What part of the people? Do they mean the government? Do they mean the king, or do they mean like the government, the people
yeah,
that work for like? What do they mean by that? Do they mean the foreign policy? Do they mean the domestic policy? There's a lot going on, right? And so
yeah,
you could, by the way, you could criticize some of those things, and praise some of those other things at the
yeah,
same time. But
yeah,
the point is that like having multiple ideas at the same time, You know what I mean?
Whatever they've done will be inherited by someone else further down the line. Heck, if you want to talk about Mehdi and eschatological
Yeah.
things,
But you could
where
say, by the way, well, that whole thing, I,
yeah,
I get you. I agree with you pretty much, yeah.
yeah,
But it's a little bit clutching at straws. Like, oh, Israel blew up everything, this and that. But you never know. Maybe in 200 years, they'll be good people.
yeah. But I want to talk about Israel. Oh, we're not talking about Israel. We're not talking about Israel.
Okay, but then
But
it comes down to how bad you think certain people or certain actions are, isn't it?
I just think, look, I think because I've seen a little bit of how like leadership works from the other side of the fence, whether it was in the police or whatever. Like I've seen things that are often seen as a monolithic organization.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen it behind the fence, so I've seen actually it's a lot more nuanced than I thought it
Yeah,
was.
different
Right.
actors and stuff.
So like, okay, I'll give you an example. One of the things you mentioned Saudi, and I remembered that I tweeted a video. I came across it on Instagram, right? Just I was going through
Oh, I
Instagram.
remember this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that little boy. There was a little boy in Gaza, and he was eating rice and meat, and it looked like a decent dish. It looked like a decent meal, alhamdulillah. You know, may Allah aid them in Gaza. May Allah rid them of the oppression that they're
Amen.
facing, right? And it was in Arabic, and there was no subtitles. So I thought, well, I really want to share this because it's actually really sweet. But let me just put a caption that basically says what the boy says. Okay.
Mm.
So I put a young boy in Gaza thanks Saudi Arabia for being able to eat meat for the first time in 4 months, thanks to their aid reaching them. Okay. This also came
Mm.
this, and I'll admit some of it came because I was seeing a lot of stuff about Saudi doesn't send anything or Saudi doesn't help, whatever. And when you say Saudi doesn't help, you do realize you're talking about not talking about Mohammed bin Salman or the ruler or the government. Talk about all those organizations, those individuals that run charitable organizations that are desperately trying to facilitate stuff going through, even if they are government run. It's not like he's got his. It's not like the government, the king or the leader, whatever, has the say so or go ahead for every single action that happens. There are a lot of individuals that are tasked with dealing with certain things and have to facilitate certain things, right? He doesn't run the charity organization that facilitates aid. He might give an order here and there, but there's so many things to think about. It's very easy to just um,
Mm.
not water it down, reduce
Yeah.
everything to being
I
that
mean,
one person's fault, right? But what I'm trying to say is let's appreciate the effort it
I'm gonna
took to
have to
get
end
that
it
there.
there because
Oh no.
I want to go to Umrah.
All right, sorry.
I actually want to go back to Umrah.
No, look, this is it.
Inshallah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to be optimistic. Essentially, the thing got
Yeah.
320 views, 320,000 views. Sorry, I was like, why is that happening? Because I'd muted it early on, bro. It's like 200 comments, 1,000, 2,000 retweets, and then it was just like everything was negative. Like everything is.
Mm.
Is this intended to be Saudi propaganda? Propaganda, making little Palestinian boys dance for food. That's crumbs to what Saudi could do. I don't know.
I wonder
Uh,
what if you put the caption as the boy thanks the Saudi people. Maybe it'd be
yeah.
like
What if I
completely
did that?
different
Or what if
reaction.
I put
Mm.
what if I put Turkey? Or what if I put I don't know.
Mm.
What? Give me a Mauritania.
Switzerland. Yeah.
So like what? I don't know. I don't know. To me. I was just like, wow. We can't even have a positive. So if they do something decent, we can't. Like when you go to Hajj, bro, which I've never been, and you've been obviously to Umrah, and you've probably benefited from something good that they've done. Are you not allowed to accept that? Are you not allowed to be grateful for that reality? Are we not allowed to do that? People were talking
Bro,
about
here's a photo. Caption me.
yeah,
Caption me.
still want to go.
Yeah.
No, but we're not allowed to. Like, is it really that? Allahu
Yeah.
A'lam.
I mean,
Allahu A'lam.
you're describing like,
I mean, the boy
people's
said it,
biases and emotions and
but what
stuff
I
gets
said
stirred up and
Well,
people,
I
yeah.
said, yeah. I mean, I was just like, the criticism I was getting for posting this might as well be applied to the little boy that recorded the video and put it on his Instagram. No, honestly, because all I did was
uh,
translate what he said. So when they're criticizing me, I said, well, I'm just translating what he said. I didn't say that they're great or they're perfect. And actually, I went onto my timeline and I went and searched Saudi or Saudi Arabia to see if I've ever tweeted about them before, and I couldn't find anything. So in my head, I'm like,
oh,
well,
right.
I don't. This is probably the first time I've ever done this. Probably first time I've ever done this on Twitter, and
Yeah.
and it happened to someone else
Yeah.
yesterday. There was a political commentator, Muslim guy, Dr. Talha, I believe his name is, PhD, and generally, he's very critical of Gulf and very critical of other regimes and stuff. But he posted something with a positive light on Saudi as another example, and he just got
Mm.
butchered in the comments again, right? Even though he's
Mm.
been previously very critical. So I just think we've crossed into like very, overzealous territory. And I never saw Saudi Arabia as I don't see Saudi Arabia as the leader of the Muslims. I don't. So what happens is
Mm.
when they do wrong, everyone treats it as much worse than anyone else doing wrong. Oh, they did a concert in the desert. Well, go and search how many concerts are in Tunisia tonight, or Turkey tonight, or Algeria tonight, or in the past 100 years. Like how Shakira went to
احنا ما
Saudi.
عدناش الحمد لله
لا
الحمد
عندكم
لله ما
عندكم
عدناش
عندكم
قاعد
لا 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 ما
كونسرت.
تكذبش عندكم. But how many, I remember searching it, like, what Muslim countries has Shakira been to? Well, she went to Morocco in this year. She went
Okay,
to this country in this
definitely
year.
not Algeria.
Probably Nigeria. And I was just thinking, where was the outrage then? I see Mecca and Medina as, yes, the cities that are very important. The Prophet's Masjid, where the Prophet, Mecca and Medina. But I don't see Mecca and Medina and then group Riyadh into that. I don't. If things were
Mm.
happening in Mecca and Medina, yeah, yani the mess in like, for example, when the Dajjal comes, where can't he enter? He can't enter Mecca or
Mm.
Medina. He can
Haramain.
probably go to Riyadh though,
Mm.
you know. And
Yes,
I think we need to
much
separate
deadly.
because there was no. I guess there was, yes, the Arabian Peninsula in terms of when you go back to the Hijri, the Hijra, you go back to the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes, I get it. But in
It
terms of
is
the
in
actual
the Hadith
locations,
Jazirat al-Arab, yeah.
yeah, Jazirat al-Arab, I get that. I appreciate it. But generally speaking, we shouldn't be treating them like um, this, I don't know, phenomenon or this exception to the rest of the Muslim world. They are part of the Ummah. The issues that
I
you
guess
see there,
you know what it is, bro. Like I could defend them. I don't know if this is what these people are thinking, but it's all about like trajectory. So, for
yeah,
example, in Turkey, why do people like praise Erdogan so much? It's not because Turkey is the best in terms of Islam or like people's practice of Islam or whatever. It's probably the worst in out of the whole Muslim world, and obviously because of the
yeah,
history and blah blah blah. But it's because the trajectory seems better in that sense, and because no doubt because of the outward marketing of it or the PR of it. Yeah.
yeah,
So then where we go, so like Erdogan has come like 20 years ago, whatever, to a country that, you know, we could describe many bad things. For example, going into a government building with a beard would get you like stopped and
yeah,
questioned and like,
yeah,
what are you doing? And that's a beard, yeah, not even scarf. Obviously, scarf was like legally not even allowed. So that's really bad. And then we've seen progress from there in a good direction. Then with Saudi, we see the opposite, decline. So it's about the trajectory, I guess. That's why they're like, because currently, like Saudi's one of the most Islamic societies, yani, in the world. It's like, why are you messing that up? You know what I mean? Why are you
yeah,
going on a decline rather than
yeah.
progress? That's
No,
probably why,
100%.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Or maybe
100%.
a larger reason.
100%. And you know what? When the criticism is said, the criticism can be said. And I'll find it difficult to disagree in that regard. Oh, they never did. Yeah, like you said, they've never done the
Yeah.
concert thing, whatever this thing before. They're doing it now. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's that's sad. I
Yeah.
get that. That's peak. Um, at the same time, if they do something positive, I shouldn't be slaughtered for that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the same
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
anywhere else. Like
exactly.
I had the same thing in Tunisia. I'm not too familiar with Tunisian politics, right? Um, I'm a bit more familiar than I am with Saudi. I'm not Saudi. I wouldn't know. But in Tunisia, I know that my dad liked the new president. My dad did. That's all I really knew. And I
Hmm.
see him. I follow the Twitter. I see them on the news. I see the statements he makes. I'm like, oh, this guy seems pretty decent. Oh, look, he wants to fix this. He's having a go at all these people. He's sacking these people that he thinks are not doing their job properly. Right? He seems to
Corrupt.
be
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
whatever. Cool. From what I see, that's pretty cool. I go there. I see positive things. Then I get people that if I tweet, I might have tweeted a picture of him once, or an article. He said something about Zionism or
Hmm.
Zionists. I shared that. Somebody responded to me, oh, he's this and that, and he's a whatever, I don't know, some negative stuff about him, which I couldn't verify and I didn't know much about anyway. I was like, okay, but can we agree that what he said here is positive? Or are we always going to just erase any positive that our communities or our leaders or whatever do just to always pick out the negatives? You know, we can't have good things, can we? We can't. No, we're leaderless and we have no one to speak for us, and that's it. We're lost. We're like, I don't know. We're like lost sheep. We've got no shepherds, and we're just that's it. We're ruined. We'll always be in this state, and we can never have anything good because all our leaders are
Mm.
corrupt, and like that negative outlook on life is what is dreadful, and I think that is what does lead people into joining, uh, extreme groups and having these crazy ideas to do crazy things because they can't see anything
Yeah.
good anywhere they go, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I don't, there's obviously a fiqh side of this
That's
thing about
probably something to do with
criticizing.
colonialism as well.
Yeah, but I think it's borrowed from what the West has really indoctrinated us with in England and in America and in the countries that we grew up in, where we see that that's a
Mm.
developing country and they're full of dictators, and that's the message they give us. This is we are
Oh
democracy
yeah.
here, and over there they're dictators and they're
Mm.
warlords and they're this, and we accept that and we take that and we see our countries through that lens. When you think
Yeah.
of Africa,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're not we don't we're North African, but we don't think about the rest of Africa that much, right? Do we? But when you think
You
of
know,
Africa,
my dad was saying, he's like, he's like, yeah, we should invest in Africa. And I was like, what, you mean Algeria? He's like, no,
yeah,
no, Africa, Africa.
but it's true though. Like when we see Africa, the messaging that we've had before, through the media and stuff, is like, oh, this country, they're warlords, and this country is ruled by a warlord, and this country is ruled by this tribe, and this and that, blah blah blah. And they're corrupt and that, and all the aid that goes gets taken away. And then sometimes you actually see what they're doing, what projects they've got going on, what they're trying to achieve. Like, oh, that's pretty impressive. Oh, that's really great. Oh, if you actually read into some of the stuff, obviously there's stuff to be critical of, no doubt. But if you were to consume just the negative and just tarnish everything they do with a brush of negativity, it's like, oh, that really great thing they did doesn't matter because this negative thing is more important, right? Whilst I bet you, the city I live in right now, or the city you live in London, or wherever, not you, but whoever's listening, you could walk down the street, you will see something that's changed for the better. I don't know, it could be a new bus stop. It could be, oh, this bus stop's great, this is much better than we didn't have one in this area. Or, oh, look, they've just facilitated this new park or something. Or they've done this new developmental. And you'll be like, oh, that's great. That was really great.
Mm.
I'm really benefiting off of that. Just like that happens in the Muslim world as well. But you're too blind to see that because you don't live there, you can't
Yeah.
appreciate it, you can't benefit from that. And I'll
Mm.
sit there and I'll be in
It's
Tunisia
also
and
like
there's
expectations and gratitude, right? Like,
yeah,
you know, like I always found this interesting when someone asks you how you are. Like some people say, "Oh, great," like American, typical American. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'm
awesome.
awesome. Yeah.
I'm locked in.
Or like Muslims, they'll be like, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah,
Yeah,
good, everything. Yeah, I'm good.
yeah,
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Like that makes a big difference. And then like you'll get like, especially in the UK, they'll be like, not bad.
not
Everything is
bad.
like not bad,
Not bad.
It can never be good. You have to be
No,
just
be
not
good.
bad. Um,
Not bad.
so
Yeah, it's
that's
another
that's kind
perspective.
of like a frame of mind, you know what I mean? It's like, well, it's like you could say, yeah, they just built a new bus stop, or like the Queen Elizabeth line just opened, or whatever, yeah, and they'd be like, well, yeah, they should have built that 20 years ago. It's like everything has a negative slant to it, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I
Yeah, so
don't.
it's like
Yeah,
a frame of mind, yeah,
you look. Yeah, I mean, I get it. The whole world's like that, though, aren't they? Everyone is critical of governments and leaders and stuff like
pretty
that,
much,
and
yeah.
I get that. And I'm not saying not to be, and I don't want anyone to take this as me trying to be a shill, trying to make excuses. I'm not saying that, but I'm also saying that as a believer, as a Muslim, we should be optimistic about certain things. We should have a level of optimism, and we should, at the end of the day, appreciate that unless you're going to try and start making takfir of people or governments or leaders or people that work in governments or people that work for organizations that facilitate for these amenities to be put together or these positive things to be organized or sort out these positive projects, unless you're going to start making takfir of all these people, they're still Muslim. And I'd like to see what they're doing for a Muslim lens. Like, oh, look, through Ihsan, we're taught that we should, this particular. I mean, you showed me that show. Remember what was it called? The one in UAE? What was it called?
in UAE.
Was it Khawatir or something like that, or
Oh,
something else?
Khawatir. That's Saudi, yeah.
Saudi. Okay. God, I'll keep going back to Saudi. They're going to think I'm paid now. They're going to call me an agent. Someone call me an agent for that tweet. Someone actually called me an agent for sharing that
Yeah.
tweet. I couldn't believe it. Um, check my bank balance, bro. It's big. No, yeah, like I like to think that they're Muslim. Everybody, everyone doing these things are Muslim and is benefiting Muslims. So I see it as a benefit to the Ummah, right? Um, Islam, Islam also encompasses benefiting the Ummah. I mean, taking an obstacle from the street that is blocking and harming the Muslims is a charity, is it not? You know. So imagine
Yeah.
making lives easier for Muslims across the Muslim world, whatever that may be, whatever they do. Let's just be like, okay, great, that's amazing, that's great. Or whether it is charity, whether it is some sort of form of support, let's just accept that there's a positive there. If we're constantly seeing things as negative, then we're just going to have a negative life and a negative outlook on anything. And you might not see the good when it's right in front of you.
Yeah. And then you probably will take less action towards good as well. Be
Do you
like,
think it's
why bother and all
hopeless?
of that.
Yeah, it's hopeless.
Yeah. Actually, I have a family member of mine that when the Arab Spring kicked off, he actually was like, took the side of Bashar. And he was like, and anyway, the point, he was like hardcore with Bashar and all that. And I just couldn't understand it. But then afterwards, I clocked on that he has seen so much negativity, so many problems in the Muslim world that when he saw like, some hope, he actually couldn't believe it. He's like, because this seems positive, it must be like a Mossad thing, or that's
Oh,
literally how he saw it.
yeah,
So that's like very negative mindset, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. No, no doubt. And the Arab Spring is a complicated one. It really is, because it didn't have the same result across the board of where it happened. Like Tunisia is very
It
different from
didn't, yeah.
Syria. Syria is very different from Egypt. Egypt's very different from Libya. Like each one had its own kind of unique consequence. Some got away with it a bit more unscathed than others. Um,
Bro, it's actually mad now that I'm thinking about it. It might be that the only country that's better off is Tunisia. I don't know.
People on the street will say no, but at the same time, they won't say it because of the. A lot of people I speak to aren't saying it's worse off because of the leader, the president. They'll say it's worse off because of the people that are still part of the deep state, right? There's a bit of like a,
Right, yeah.
you know, there's a bit of like that kind of thing. Like, oh, there's still these remnants of the. And then there are some people that say, oh, it was
Yeah,
better
yeah.
off back in the day. But the economy's changed, the world has changed. A lot of things that affect economy is a lot of the things that people complain about. Economics of it all,
Yeah,
currency,
yeah.
that
I
kind of thing.
mean, okay, maybe like I was thinking about Libya. Libya, obviously one side of Libya is like free and the other side's not. So on the free side, maybe who knows, maybe economically they're not as good, but maybe that freedom allows more practice of Islam and stuff like that. So
Well, there
maybe that
is,
is they
yeah,
are better off, Yani, in that sense. So
yeah. I saw a,
because
I, s-
anyway, in Libya, I don't think they had an issue, economically. That wasn't what they were complaining about. So
Mm, mm.
yeah,
but once again, if you inject people with feelings of resentment and negativity, and I'm not saying that bad things don't happen, but I'm saying if you inject that into populace, they will take it and run with it, and they will. I remember in Tunisia, every other week there was a new protest after the Arab Spring, and we'd had this new president because they just thought that that's what we want to do now to get what we want. There is no sabr in the sense of,
right.
okay, things are bad now, but let's try and knuckle down and make our country better. Oh, I can't find a job. Okay, I'm going to go on the street and protest. Right, that
Right.
kind of thing,
Yeah.
that kind of mentality. Because once you've done it once, you can do it
Yeah.
100 times. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like makes me think of the tube drivers in London
Uh
who
huh.
are so well paid because they just strike every like few months. They're striking,
Yeah.
and that's what gets them the increase in pay, man.
May Allah
Let's go into
bless.
this marriage thing, bro.
Yeah, I was going to say, may Allah bless our countries with stability, bro. That's all.
I mean,
Right, quickly.
I mean,
Oh, we're running out of time, bro. We're running out of time,
zero
Z's.
time.
Got no time. We already spent an hour talking before we recorded, which wasn't very
Yeah.
fresh.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
God,
Inshallah, we
where is
keep
it?
it going from now. Hopefully, bi'idhnillah, we'll keep
Yeah,
it
should
going.
be able to.
And I guess we'll have to strategically end this, leaving them wanting more, basically.
Yeah, yeah, we can do that. Should we end it here?
Okay. Subhanak Allahumma bihamdik, shadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Thanks for joining us. For those who've had the patience to come back after a few months of emptiness.
Emptiness.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.